Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to today's deep dive into the shifting landscape of women's tennis, as the Australian Open once again proves why it is a tournament that can reshape careers, redefine expectations, and redraw the WTA rankings in dramatic fashion. As Melbourne reaches its final crescendo, only two players remain standing in the women's singles draw: Aryna Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina, preparing to face each other in a title clash that carries not only a Grand Slam trophy, but enormous rankings consequences. Saturday's final will mark the 15th career meeting between Sabalenka and Rybakina, a rivalry that has quietly grown into one of the most compelling on the WTA Tour. It is also their second Australian Open final encounter, following their memorable 2023 showdown, where Sabalenka battled through to capture her maiden major title. This time, the context feels different. Both women arrive with more experience, more scars, and more belief, and both know that what happens in this final will echo well beyond Rod Laver Arena. Even before a ball is struck in the championship match, the Australian Open has already had a significant impact on the WTA rankings. Sabalenka entered the tournament as the undisputed world number one, and regardless of the final outcome, her position at the summit is secure. Yet the weeks in Melbourne have still served to strengthen her grip on the top spot, underlining her consistency and dominance on hard courts. Coming into the tournament, the top 10 was delicately balanced. Iga Świątek held the world number 2 position, but there was a sense that her cushion was vulnerable. Coco Gauff, Amanda Anisimova, Elena Rybakina, and Jessica Pegula were all clustered closely together, each with an opportunity to climb or fall, depending on their Australian Open performance. Further down, Madison Keys entered Melbourne with a heavy burden on her shoulders, defending the 2,000 ranking points she earned by winning the title the previous year. From the outset, she was the player most at risk of a dramatic slide. At the start of the tournament, the official WTA rankings painted a picture of order and hierarchy. Sabalenka led the way with 10,990 points, followed by Świątek on 8,328. Gauff and Anisimova were almost inseparable in third and fourth, while Rybakina sat fifth, still searching for the consistency that had eluded her at times in 2025. Pegula, Mira Andreeva, Jasmine Paolini, Keys, and Belinda Bencic rounded out the top 10, a mix of established names and rising stars. As the fortnight unfolded, that picture began to shift. Sabalenka, calm and ruthless, matched her run from 12 months earlier and ensured she would not lose any ground. Her ability to repeatedly reach the latter stages of majors has become her greatest strength, and in Melbourne, she once again demonstrated why she has built such a commanding points lead over the rest of the field. If she goes on to lift the trophy, her total will surge even further, stretching the gap between herself and her closest rivals. Świątek, on the other hand, experienced a more frustrating tournament. Her quarterfinal loss to Rybakina not only ended her title hopes, but also cost her valuable ranking points. Having reached the semifinals the previous year, her earlier exit resulted in a drop of 350 points, leaving her vulnerable as the chasing pack closed in. While she remains firmly entrenched near the top of the rankings, the Australian Open served as a reminder that even the most consistent players are not immune to sudden setbacks. Perhaps the most significant mover at the top end is Elena Rybakina. By reaching the final, she has already guaranteed herself a return to world number 3, regardless of the outcome on Saturday. This rise represents a remarkable resurgence for the Kazakh, who was ranked outside the top 10 as recently as July 2025. Quietly efficient throughout the fortnight, Rybakina has once again proven that her power game and composed temperament are perfectly suited to the biggest stages. Her live ranking points total reflects not just a strong 2 weeks, but a broader return to elite form. Amanda Anisimova has also emerged as one of the winners for Melbourne. Her deep run ensures she will sit fourth in the rankings, solidifying her status as a top-tier contender. For Coco Gauff, however, the story is more bittersweet. Despite matching her quarterfinal performance from the previous year, she will drop 2 places in the rankings, overtaken by the surging Rybakina and the consistent Anisimova. It is a reminder of how unforgiving the rankings system can be, where maintaining position often requires improvement rather than repetition. Jessica Pegula, Mira Andreeva, and Jasmine Paolini all emerged from the Australian Open with their rankings intact. In a tournament full of movement, stability can sometimes be its own victory. Pegula's reliability continues to keep her firmly within the top tier, while Andreeva's steady progression suggests that her breakthrough moments may not be far away. Paolini, meanwhile, continues to quietly accumulate points and confidence, reinforcing her place among the game's elite. Further down the top 10, there is positive news for Belinda Bencic and Alina Svitolina. Both are set to climb back into the top 10, rewarding strong performances and renewed momentum. For Svitolina, in particular, the significance runs deeper. Her return to the top 10 marks her first time back in that elite bracket since 2021, and the first since becoming a mother in 2022. Her run to the semifinals in Melbourne stands as one of the most inspiring stories of the tournament, a testament to resilience, perseverance, and belief. Beyond the top 10, the Australian Open has created a ripple effect throughout the rankings. Victoria Mboko continues her rapid ascent, rising 3 places to a career high, ranking just outside the top 10. Naomi Osaka, despite a mid-tournament withdrawal, still manages to climb 3 spots, underlining how even partial success can yield rewards when combined with past consistency. One of the standout stories belongs to American teenager Iva Jovic. Her run to her first Grand Slam quarterfinal has propelled her 7 places up the rankings, pushing her into the top 20 for the first time. It is the kind of breakthrough that can change a career trajectory overnight, and Melbourne may well be remembered as the tournament where Jovic announced herself to the world. There are also notable leaps further down the rankings ladder. Wang Xinyu's run to the 4th round sees her climb 13 places, while Peyton Stearns makes an even bigger jump, rising 18 spots after a confidence-boosting campaign. Zeynep Somnez records one of the most dramatic rises, climbing 33 places and breaking into the top 80, a reminder that the Australian Open is not just about titles, but about opportunity. Yet for every winner, there must be losers, and the Australian Open has been particularly unforgiving in that regard. The most striking fall belongs to Madison Keys. Entering the tournament as the defending champion, she faced the daunting task of defending 2,000 points. An early exit meant she could retain only a fraction of those, resulting in a drop of 6 places in the rankings. After spending a year inside the top 10, Keys now finds herself outside that elite group, a stark illustration of how quickly fortunes can change at the top of the sport. Coco Gauff, despite a respectable performance, also finds herself slipping, overtaken by rivals who simply went a step further. Clara Tauson and Emma Navarro are each set to drop 2 places, while Marta Kostyuk slides 3 spots, casualties of a tournament where progress was required to stand still. More severe drops await others. Diana Yastremska faces a fall of 15 places following an opening round exit, while Paula Badosa endures one of the harshest declines of all. After reaching the semifinals in Melbourne a year ago, her second-round loss this time results in a staggering drop of nearly 40 places, sending her tumbling down the rankings and highlighting the brutal mathematics of the WTA system. Eva Liss and Daria Kasatkina also face significant slides, each losing close to 20 places after disappointing runs. For players in this tier, the Australian Open can either be a launchpad or a setback, and this year it has been firmly the latter. As the tournament reaches its conclusion, the overarching narrative is clear. Aryna Sabalenka's position at the top has been reinforced, her lead over her rivals growing even stronger. Elena Rybakina's resurgence has been emphatically confirmed, her return to the top 3 symbolizing both redemption and renewed threat. Around them, a new generation continues to rise, while others are reminded of how relentlessly competitive the modern women's game has become. When the final ball is struck on Saturday, one player will lift the Daphne Akers Memorial Cup. But long after the trophy presentation ends, The impact of this Australian Open will continue to reverberate through the rankings, shaping storylines, rivalries, and ambitions for the months to come. In Melbourne, careers have been elevated, challenged, and redefined, and the WTA landscape looks both familiar and thrillingly new once again.